All right. Live. Here we go. All right. So today we're going to chat about how to find your authority, especially when it comes to creating an online business. So, what I did was I had to do a little bit of a life audit. And I'm not going to dive into too much of my story, but I think it's important to know a little bit about how I got into online marketing and all this kind of stuff. So, really, about 7 years ago was basically when all the crap hit the fan for me. And basically, that was when I just lost another job. We had no money. My wife and I weren't getting along, and she basically threw her wedding ring at me and said, "Here, go use this to pay the rent." So I was basically kicked out, and I was looking for a place to stay. And I had a buddy that had some real estate property, and he had an apartment building, and one of the apartments was actually empty, and it didn't have any power, no electricity, no furniture, nothing. Cupboards were bare, everything. So that's where I stayed for a while until I could figure things out. That for me was rock bottom. So basically, in an apartment building, all I had was my cell phone, an extension cord, and I had to run it underneath the door down the hall and try and tap power from the hallway just so I can look for a job on Indeed. I didn't want my phone to go dead um, at night or during the day in case I got a call for a job interview or something like that. So basically, rock bottom for me. Had no job, had no money, had a ton of banks calling me 6 days a week, basically. And what else was going on? Yeah, just everything. I couldn't figure things out. I was like, man, this sucks. And all I had was my sleeping bag and pillow. Like I said, my cell phone, extension cord, and that was it. And my marriage was basically done. So I looked around the apartment and I was like, this is not good. This is like, I feel like doing a swan dive off of a bridge because I had nothing left, no legacy, nothing. So I had a thought. I could either jump off a bridge or I could maybe seek some help. So I went on my cell phone, looked up just the nearest church, found a pastor, chit chatted with him, and he basically said to me, "This is pretty bad right now. This is really bad. Like most people don't recover from where you're at right now. Had all kinds of issues." So he said, "But if you want to follow my blueprint, if you want to choose a better life, I can help you out." So I was basically open ears. I followed his blueprint. The next day, I applied for a job, got a job almost immediately. Monday, I started. So this was a Friday. Monday, I started, and I still have the same job full time 7 years later. And about that time, well, this house that I'm in right now was being built as well. So that's kind of interesting is when I was hitting the very bottom, that's when this house was just finished being built. And I had no money, I had no job, nothing. And meanwhile, when I was kicked out of my house, basically living in an apartment with no electricity, nothing, this house that I'm in right now was being built, which is fascinating when you think about it. So I was at rock bottom and this house was being built. And you got to understand, we never purchased a house in her life. I bought a house for property, just for the purposes of getting a renter to pay off the mortgage, because I read a book called Rich Dad Poor Dad, and I thought it would be smart to buy a property. So I bought a property, and then a few months later, that got foreclosed on. And basically, that was when I had to throw the keys back at the bank. And that's when they started calling me, and I couldn't pay our own rent. That's when I lost my last job. So everything was going wrong. Banks were calling me, all kinds of stuff. I had no credit card. I couldn't even get a prepaid credit card, nothing. So the reason why I share this is a few months ago, I had to do a bit of a life audit and figure out, why does this kind of a pattern happen, and why am I not appreciative of where I'm at right now? So I had to do that. So when I did that, I basically went backwards and went, okay, what were some of the most painful experiences that I've experienced ever since I was a child? And I just wrote them all down in order, pages and pages. And then I picked out about 4 or 5 things that actually stood out to me. And when I did that, I realized that there was a common theme. And the common theme was I wasn't able to submit under any type of authority. I didn't respect authority in any way, shape, or form. So after doing a bit of an audit, I began to extract life lessons, and out of that came the website that I built, which is called Authority Attracts, because I had to take authority over my life to change things around. It was my decision. Good or bad, I had a choice to make. So when I made a choice, the choice was to live a better life. I had to start one day at a time. I couldn't think too far down into the future because it was too blurry for me. I couldn't think clear. So then I got a job, started working, and then 5 years later, we ended up buying this house right here. My wife and I, we got back together and bought our first home, and I bought our brand new car and everything, and life is pretty good right now. And I thought, you know what? I need to share this story online, and I need to package this up in a way that can actually help people as well by sharing my story, and use my online marketing skills to package everything up so that if people wanted to do the same thing, they want to extract their life story, I can show them how to do that. And that's what I've created. It's not so much an online marketing course, it is more a coaching program, because I honestly believe you can learn pretty much anything you can think of online with YouTube nowadays, like anything. But there's something about having a coach to walk alongside you and basically hold your hand, someone that you could reach out to on a weekly basis, and then they can say, yes, you're on track or you're going off track. So that's why I created Authority Attracts, because I have an 8-week program. It's called Authority Ignited. And if you want to know a little bit more about that, what you can do is you can actually go to authorityattracts.com/chat. Tell you a little bit more about my story. But you can actually, after listening to my story, you can actually book a strategy session with me. It's free. It's complimentary. It's about 45 minutes long. I can share with you my blueprint, and you'll have enough information to go out, especially if you're a little bit tech savvy and you have a YouTube channel already and all this kind of stuff. Maybe you're a consultant, maybe you're a coach already. In that 45-minute strategy session, you'll have enough information to take off and go get started. But if you want my help, then we can talk afterwards about what the next steps would be. So it's pretty straightforward. It's not a get rich scheme or anything like that, but it honestly took me a bit of a process to actually think about all the painful experiences that I had in life, extract the lesson from it, and then package it up into a product or service that I could sell to the public, which is what I do now. So each week, I want to be able to make a video like this where I can just share a little bit about different marketing strategies, how you can create a product out of thin air from scratch, and then how you can actually price it out and then put it on your website and then sell it. So that's the goal. So that's it for today. This is just a short little tiny stream just to get in the habit of doing a live stream each week. And if you watch this a little bit later, feel free to comment. If there's a particular topic that you want me to talk about, then let me know that as well in the comments. Other than that, that's it for today. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in another video. Bye for now.